Welcome everyone to this week's video. Today we are on Fish Friday number 265 and we have a good one for you today. Today's fish is a fish that honestly we haven't talked enough about this group of fish. In fact, we haven't really talked about it at all. So I'm very excited to bring this fish to you today. Today's fish that we're going to be talking about is bam! The Tiger River Stingray. Now, the Tiger River Stingray, or scientific name Potamotrigon tigrina. Again, that's Potamotrigon tigrina. It is part of the family Potamotrigonidae, which is the family of river stingrays, which is the family of freshwater stingrays, which is always really neat. A lot of people are not necessarily aware that there are freshwater stingrays out there. So, you know, I'm very happy to be bringing this fish to y'all. Now, this fish is endemic to the Amazon River Basin in Peru. Always fun to be talking about an endemic species, which, remember, an endemic species means that it is found nowhere else in the world. And it is one of the rare freshwater stingrays. Not necessarily that it's doing bad in the wild, just that it is one of the rare ones. You're really going to find these in more of your faster flowing clear water tributaries, where they're going to hang out primarily in sandy and muddy portions of those swiftwater streams, usually in kind of the deeper channels where they'll bury themselves in the substrate. And the reason why we'll talk about later. But they really like that oxygen rich flowing water. A lot of stingrays actually don't do that. They're actually primarily stillwater species, so even more unique in that this one is a little bit swifter moving water. Now, it is kind of a larger fish, but it's really on the smaller size. They can reach up to about 80 centimeters, which is 2.6 feet across. And I believe they get up to about 5 feet in length, which would be, what, a meter and a half. I'm not really sure on the weight, but I'd imagine, like most other stingrays, they're actually fairly hefty. Because most stingrays are actually just almost pure muscle. Now it has a rounded disc, which is, you know, the body, with its rounded pectoral fins. It's got a whip-like tail. It's not a short tail. In fact, we'll go to this one. You can see this one appears a little blunt here, but if you see right here on this picture, which is a smaller individual, you can see it does have this longer tail with this very, very sharp barb there. It's got this very creamy coloring. It's got larger eyes, which would also make sense if it is in clear waters. Usually clear water species tend to have larger eyes than their relatives. Got those very large spiracles, which, remember, that's how stingrays and sharks actually breathe. But in terms of its coloration, it's pretty recognizable with this bold black body with these creamy or golden stripes, irregular spots, this vermiculation or worm track pattern. You know, the coloration, the patterning can vary, but this black and gold is very distinctive, which is where it got its name Tiger, I believe. I don't believe it's actually the Tiger River where it's found. I believe it's actually just found or called that because of its coloration pattern. And this coloration pattern is absolutely striking. It's actually why it's one of the we'll talk about this later. Sorry. Now, like most other stingrays, they're kind of benthic ambush predators. They're going to eat small fish, worms, crustaceans, other invertebrates that they're going to stir up with the substrate. They have very powerful jaws. They're going to be crushing crawdads. They're probably crushing, freshwater mussels and things like that. So, kind of that general stingray characteristic. They're usually pretty shy. spending most of their time buried in the sand or mud. They can move really fast to surprise prey, but they are going to spend most of their time kind of hidden in them. And that's where this coloration pattern, while we see this coloration pattern is absolutely striking, and it is, it's very important for their camouflage. And this picture, I think, kind of represents that. Imagine if this fish is in a darker, muddy bottom water where you have all of that light penetrating the water. You know how you always talk about you know how lights always penetrate the water and go to the bottom and create that little dappling effect? That helps this fish actually stay extremely camouflaged. A lot better than most people might think, because if you have seen these, they've been in aquariums where they're not given necessarily the correct bottoms, and you can see them in crystal clear water. But absolutely striking coloration pattern that actually has a lot to do with camouflage. Now, in terms of their reproduction, they are viviparous, meaning that they give birth to live young. So the young will develop in the inside the mother, and then after they ingest the yolk sac, the embryos will receive that uterine milk section, which is histotrophy. There we go. And this is very common throughout a lot of stingrays, and we've talked about this. It's not just stingrays; it's common through a lot of the cartilaginous fishes. Where they have multiple styles of reproduction, but a very common one is this uterine milk secretion, to where the young stay inside there. And that means that their litter sizes are small, and in this case, 2 to 6 pups, but it usually means that those young are actually very much larger because they spent more time inside of their mother kind of growing. And that's the huge sort of trade-off between reproductive strategies, whereas most mammals give birth to live young. Very, very often mammals do not have large litter sizes or babies, but our babies are actually fairly large in comparison. So yeah, this stingray is no exception. I don't believe they reproduce that often, and because of that, it really contributes to their rarity, and it really makes their populations vulnerable to overharvesting. And that is what leads us to the interesting fact we're in the video on, and something that I preach on this channel so often is know where your fish is coming from and what exactly you are putting in your aquarium. The Tiger River stingray is considered one of kind of the holy grails of freshwater aquariums. They're extremely rare. They have this coloration is absolutely beautiful, and when you combine those two things, it comes with a hefty price tag. This is one of the fish that would be is fairly close to like setting records. And whenever they pop up, it's not very often, but I've seen them go for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, and it not be that big. But so it's still a biologically fascinating organism, but it's kind of viewed as that status symbol in the aquarium world. And unfortunately, that means that indigenous people of Peru can really harvest these fish very quickly and sell them for a vast sum of money with very little work. Because once you find these things, I mean, they're not really that fast as swimmers, and there's multiple ways to trap them. And because they're only found in a very small area, that means that this fish is very, very susceptible to over harvesting, which is why I always preach about, please know where your fish are coming from. I'm not saying don't have wild fish in your aquarium, but if you get this fish for your aquarium, you better make darn sure you're like, hey, I am taking pride in this, and I will take care of this fish because it is one of the rarest fish in the world. It's not a status symbol to me. It is me presenting, and that's something that I should probably encourage more. If you do have those rare or endemic fish and you have an aquarium and you're putting those in your aquarium, make sure that you let people know, hey, this is a rare fish, and don't view it as a status symbol. View it as an educational opportunity. Teach people about the incredible world of fisheries and what is going on, and say, I'm taking care of this. I'm doing the absolute best I can to make sure this fish is living as comfortably as possible, and I am going to make sure that it has a good life. Do not get one of these fish and just kind of, oh, well, dang. Granted, its price tag kind of limits that, but you shouldn't really be doing that with any fish. That's why I'm just like, make sure you know what you're getting, and have knowledge about your fish, and use that as an educational opportunity to teach other people about fish. It's one of the neatest things that you can do if you have an aquarium. But thank you guys so much again. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you do. I'd really appreciate it. Hope to see you again. If you'd like to support the channel, please click the link down below. It is by no means expected, but very much appreciated regardless. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and peace.